whether you should do retirement travel, full-time no less. You're wondering, am I ready? Should I do it? Can I do it? How do I do it? You don't even know where to start. But if you're in the beginning stages of exploring this concept, retirement travel, you're thinking you want to do it full time, here are 5 things you should think about as you go down that path. My name is Heather, and my husband Paul and I have done it for nearly 2 years, and we have no intention of slowing down. Just wait till you hear what we have on the horizon. So the first thing you really should consider is, are you and your partner or spouse on the same page on this whole concept to begin with? I would say that the people we've met, most of the time, they are couples doing it. Now, certainly I know there are a lot of solo travelers out there, and if that is you, that is fantastic. You can just skip step 1. But if you have a significant other, then you really should sit down and talk about it. Are you on the same page? Because in all honesty, usually in the couple who's doing world travel, one of them is the instigator and the other one might be the willing accomplice. But it's usually one person's idea first. And that person usually gets all these great ideas, and they sit there and they research it and they look at it and they get so excited about it. And they finally get to the point where they talk to their partner and say, okay, we're going to do this. And they get really, really excited. But it kind of hits the partner out of the blue. They might need to take a step back. So very important to let your significant other take time to process it. Maybe kind of dole it out in bits and pieces, because it really does take time to adjust to this whole concept of full-time worldwide travel. Now, having said that, this might be a little bit obvious, but you might want to consider, do both of you like to travel? Do you enjoy it? Do you even travel well together? This could be a big issue if one of you loves to get to the airport 3 hours early and the other likes running down at the last minute. You might want to really consider, are you on the same page when it comes to travel? And also, what type of travel do you have in mind? You can RV full time, you can go cruising full time, travel Europe full time, you can go hike all of the big peaks in the world. In fact, we've done a lot of all of that. So give yourselves some time as a couple to explore it together, explore what you want to do, the ways you want to do it, and just make sure you're mostly on the same page. Now, the second thing to think about, and I'm sure all of you probably are already thinking about this, is money. How much does it cost? Well, I can't give you an exact answer for that, although in the future I am going to be doing a video on money and how we afford it and sort of the tools we use and the resources we use in order to do full-time worldwide travel in retirement. But you need to assess your own financial situation. Now, I know people who travel the world really, really inexpensively. And I know others that, man, the sky is the limit. They can spend whatever they want. So it really is such a personal situation, but you need to think about your own financial situation. Are you going to be able to draw an income from investments? Are you going to do an online business to get some side income? Are you going to rent out your house to get some income that way? Or are you just going to sell everything and throw caution to the wind and enjoy it that way? There is no right or wrong answer, but what is important is to do a really, really thorough assessment. I can tell you, when Paul and I were talking about doing this, the idea at first made him very uncomfortable. I don't know if we can afford it. What do we do about it? And really what helped that is to sit down, and we did this repeatedly, grab a spreadsheet. He is a spreadsheet kind of guy. Put it all down and think forward 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And once he saw it on paper or on his computer screen, it really, really made him feel much more comfortable. And next thing you know, we're both like, yep, let's do it. And man, everything started rolling from there. So don't skip the step of thinking about finances and how you are going to handle the worldwide travel. Okay, now let's talk about your health. Depending on what kind of full-time retirement travel you want to do, you really should consider an honest assessment of your own health. So just think about it. If your goal is to go on cruises all around the world, well, you honestly don't need to be in that great of health. But if you want to go hike all of the great mountains in the world, well, you might want to make sure that your health matches your goals. So what's really important to do is figure out what type of travel you want to do and then see if your health matches it, and either adjust the type of travel or work on your health. Now, what we decided to do is we wanted to do a huge sailing journey, and that required a lot of physical strength and health. So we decided to do the sailing piece the first out of the chute, and you know what? Yes, it really did require a lot of physical strength, a lot of health, and we're really glad we did it that way. We always knew we were going to pivot to RVing, but making sure we did the sailing while we still had great health was super important to us. Now, what about your family? There are a lot of things to consider about family. Do you have elderly parents you have to be responsible for? What about your children? What about your grandchildren? It's something that really needs to be thought out very, very carefully. If you're the type that you want to bounce your grandbabies on your knee every week, probably this is not a good choice for you. We, however, are lucky because we've got children and grandchildren all over the world, so it fits into our plan perfectly. But really sit down, take the time, have the heart-to-hearts with your children, your parents, your grandkids, anybody that might be affected by this decision, and really take the steps necessary to make them feel comfortable. Some of them might be just uncomfortable for your safety. They might worry about you. Others might worry that you're not going to be there to take care of them. But there really are steps you can take to put all of that in order, so pretty much everybody's going to support you by the time you do it. They might think you're crazy, but you'll probably get a lot of love and support. Just don't skip the step of talking to them. Now here's a big one. Your stuff. What the heck do you do with all of your stuff when you're preparing for full-time retirement travel? Now, what I'll say is there's no one answer to that. We actually did it in stages. We did a series of downsizing from when we had all of our kids together in one big, huge house, and then we went to a smaller house and a smaller house. But again, this has been on the radar for us for a long time. So we ultimately got down to almost nothing when we decided to go out on our sailboat. But it was a process, no question. And frankly, my husband and I are both minimalists, really, so it wasn't that difficult. But there are some things you want to think about. I think the biggest one is photos and documents that you really, really need. The best solution is to scan them and then get rid of them. And it's hard to do. It is hard to throw those photos away, but that is a great solution for that. Same thing with your important papers. If you have some stuff that absolutely you cannot get rid of, then either get a small storage unit or maybe a safe deposit box, or maybe you have a relative that you can leave the stuff with. And then the biggest thing when it comes to stuff is your house. There are a lot of different ways to handle that. I'm actually going to come out with another video on that, just talking about house. But you can obviously either sell it, or you can keep it, or you can keep it and rent it out for some income. And frankly, we have done all of the above. So look forward to that video coming because the answer might not be quite so obvious. So this is another one of those discussions you have to have with your partner. What the heck do we do with all of our stuff? And one more thing that I will say about your stuff is that you really don't need much of it when you're traveling the world, and it's very liberating not to have it. All right, we're back here. My coffee's gone. But I did want to tell you what we have in store that is so exciting. I just booked us an around the world airplane ticket. It goes fully around the world. It stops in many, many different countries, and it is a trip that's going to span 4 months. And we're going to go to all kinds of exciting places. So I hope you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when all of those videos come out. But in the meantime, we are just about to hit the road for our summer of RV travel. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for tuning into the Freedom Strategy, where we unlock retirement by traveling the world.